So I'd like to record another video that describes the relationship between an angle measure and a radian measure. So, angles can be measured in either radians or degrees. So a radian is actually a way to measure an angle. So to be clear here, 2 pi corresponds in radians, I should say, corresponds to 360 degrees in degrees. And in some ways, you could even make the argument that radians is more connected to the geometry of the circle, whereas 360 seems relatively arbitrary. Because if we know what a radius of a circle is, well, 1 radian is defined by basically the arc length that is equal to the radius. So we know that for the circumference of a circle all the way around, the entire arc length all the way around the circle is 2 pi r, or 2 pi times the radius. So radians actually tell us what the degree of an angle is with regard to how much of a circle it would be. So, for instance, if some common measures of angles, for instance, if we have radians versus degrees here in a table, 360 degrees, as I said, is 2 pi radians, which means 180 degrees is pi radians, and 90 degrees would be pi over 2 radians. 45 degrees is pi over 4 radians. The other key angles we're going to focus on in trigonometry that are sort of your core angle measures are 60 degrees and multiples of that, and 30 degrees. Basically all multiples of 30 degrees. So, as you might predict here looking at this would be, since 60 is 180 divided by 3, 60 degrees in radians is pi over 3. And since 30 is half of that, that's pi over 6 radians. And as you begin to work with these quite a bit, you'll start to get more and more comfortable. But if we want to convert for something in, let's say we have 75 in degrees, we could always multiply it like we would by 2 pi, right, radians over 360 degrees. And what you'll see is the units of the degrees will cancel. And actually, this could simplify to just pi over 180. So 75 pi over 180 radians. I believe we can simplify that, and we would get 5 pi over 12, or 5/12 pi radians. So you could use that method to basically simplify or convert any angle measure to radian measure. But just knowing that 2 pi is 360 degrees, as 2 pi is the full way around of the circle, and you can remember that because it comes from the circumference equation, is a good starting point for understanding radians versus degrees and how to go between the two. Of course, this method that I did here could also convert me radians into degrees. I would just inverse this multiplier to cancel out my radians rather than my degrees if I had been given a radian measure to convert to degrees. Hope you liked this video. Much love, everybody. Hope to see you all soon.